In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a ASP.NET Web API, and we will see how we can run the Web API in the browser. So, in this Visual Studio, I have a couple of projects here. To create a Web API project, I need to add it into this Visual Studio solution. So, I'll say right click, add new project, and here we have all the web templates that are installed. So for web API, we need to select ASP.NET and web API project. So we will say web API test one, and then we can say okay. Here then it is asking for the template. So for this, we are going to have this web API template and say okay. Now the Visual Studio is creating a web API project here. Now if you can see in this solution explorer, we have this web API project created, and Visual Studio has added all the default stuff to it. For us, the important thing in this project is controllers. So we can see here we have this home controller, which is basically a basic controller, and it will be used to load the web page in the API project. And then we have this values controller, which will basically is the API controller. You can see here it is inheriting API controller class, and then in this controller we have all the methods defined here, like get, post, put, and delete. And here you can see get method is overloaded. One is with parameters, and another one is without parameters. So before we do any changes to this code, we would like to run this web API in the browser. So for that, let me rebuild the solution. It succeeded. So and then let's set the web API project as startup project and run it in the browser. So it's basically going to show you the default web API project page here. See, you can see it here. Now, in order to test our web API controller, we need to provide the URI of the controller in the address bar of the browser. For that, we need to understand the routing mechanism that have been defined in this web API project. So we'll go to global.asx file. Here we have this web API config. This is where the routing is defined for web API, how the controllers can be initiated, calls to controllers can be initiated. So let's go there. Now here you can see routing template is something like project name, and then API, and then the controller name, and then the parameters. Parameter is optional out here. So now since we know how to construct the URI of the web API, then since web API is already running, let's go to the browser and see how we can run it. So let's say API slash and the controller name values. So I'm just calling the get method of API without any parameter. So you can see it is returning a collection of strings here. So in the code we can see this is the method which is being hit. We can debug it just to make sure that this is the method which is being hit. Here I'll say reload. So you can see the debug control which come out here. I'll say F5, and this is the result. Now this is very basic stuff, but just now let's do some changes in this code here. uh, I would like to return a business entity from here, a simple business entity. So I'll do some change here. So I say I list, and I have a web API model defined here. In here I have this person class. So I would like to return the collection of persons from here. So for that, to make this class available here, let's set the reference to web API of this project. Now go to that reference web model. Uh, let's resolve it, and then you can see the person class is accessible here. Now let's create a person class uh, list variable. So I'll say it list of persons equal to new list of person, and then to this list collection we can add person objects, person class objects. So let's create a person, say person one is equal to new person first name is equal to Son, and last name is equal to Smith, and then we can say date of birth equal to new date and time. So this person object is created out here. Now let's add this person object to a collection of persons. So I'll say add, then add this person one to this, and instead of returning this string collection, now I've written my persons collection. Now let's rebuild it and see how Web API behaves. This is a browser. Now let's provide Web API. You can see again this method is hit. So it's coming, it's creating a person object, adding it, and then simply returning it. So now here you can see it's a person object that have been returned by this Web API get method. Now there is another method which says which has got a parameter assigned to it. So just for testing, if I again run this API project and provide a parameter with the values, then you can see it will hit the other overload of get method. So I can provide anything, say one. You can see if it is hitting the parameter is coming here, and it is hitting the get overload with the parameter, and you can see it's returning value. So this was a very basic video about how we can create a ASP.NET Web API and consume it.